The rain was heavy that night, crashing against the empty sidewalks, blurring the streetlights into rivers of gold. Emily rushed from the diner where she worked, holding her thin coat tightly around her shoulders. She didn't notice the sleek black car parked at the corner until the headlights flickered once, then faded back into silence. He was there again, just like the night before and the night before that. Daniel Hayes, the man the city knew as the untouchable millionaire, the man who could buy out companies with a stroke of his pen, was sitting quietly, waiting. He had asked her out once, politely, with none of the arrogance that men with money often carried. She had refused, thinking it was just a game for him, that someone like her, tired, broke, invisible, could never mean anything real to someone like him. But he hadn't gone away. Every night, when her shift ended, he was there, not chasing, not insisting, just waiting. Before we continue deeper into Emily's journey and Daniel's quiet determination, take a moment to support kindness and second chances. If you believe love can bloom in the most unexpected places, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Your support keeps these heartfelt stories alive. Emily's life had never been kind. She had grown up with little, losing her father at a young age and watching her mother work 3 jobs to keep them afloat. That same determination had passed down to her, though the world rarely rewarded it. At 26, she was exhausted, working double shifts at the diner, studying online at night to finish her nursing degree. She barely had time to breathe, let alone think about romance. Men had come and gone, usually leaving when they realized she had no space in her life for dates, adventures, or expensive outings. Love had become something she tucked away, telling herself it was a luxury she couldn't afford. So when Daniel first walked into the diner, immaculately dressed, tall, with a face that drew whispers from every waitress, she had served him like any other customer, keeping her eyes down. But he had noticed her. Not just her tired hands or the way she hurried with every plate, but the strength behind her silence. He had left her a generous tip and a small note that simply said, "Dinner sometime. Just us. No strings." She had shaken her head when he asked again in person, refusing as gently as she could. Men like him didn't wait. Men like him moved on to the next glittering option. Except he hadn't. Night after night, Daniel's car appeared. Sometimes he stepped out, leaning casually against it with his hands in his pockets, just giving her a nod before letting her pass. Sometimes he simply stayed inside, a shadow behind the glass, making sure she got home safely. He never pressed, never called her out, never crossed the line. He was simply there. Emily told herself it was absurd. He was probably bored or curious about the challenge. Yet deep down, a part of her heart, long frozen, was thawing under his quiet persistence. Still, she refused to let him in. She couldn't trust it. Daniel's life, meanwhile, was far from empty. To the world, he was a titan of business, the millionaire with skyscrapers under his name. But inside, he carried a loneliness that wealth couldn't heal. His parents had died when he was young, and he had been raised among nannies, tutors, and boardrooms. People came to him for opportunities, for money, for the shine of his name, but no one saw him. Not really, until Emily. The first time she had looked him in the eye, she hadn't seen the fortune, the name, or the power. She had simply seen a man ordering coffee, and when she refused his first offer, it had been the first genuine no he had heard in years. Instead of wounding his pride, it had stirred something in him. He admired her boundaries, her strength, her refusal to be swayed. It made him want to show her that he wasn't just another man chasing attention. Weeks passed. Emily's coworkers teased her about the mystery man in the car, but she brushed it off. The truth was, his presence had become oddly comforting. On nights when the streets felt dangerous, when drunks shouted near the alleyways, she would glance over her shoulder and see his steady figure, and her fear would ease. He never intruded, but he was there, protecting her in silence. One night, as winter deepened, Emily left the diner late, her feet aching, her body chilled to the bone. The snow had started falling, coating the streets in white. Her coat was too thin, her gloves worn out. She wrapped her arms tightly and hurried, but halfway down the block, her knees wobbled. She hadn't eaten all day, saving what little money she had for her mother's medicine. The world tilted, and suddenly she felt herself slipping. Strong arms caught her before she hit the ground. She looked up, breathless, into Daniel's worried eyes. For the first time, he had crossed the distance between them. "You're freezing," he murmured, though she couldn't find the strength to argue. Without asking, he guided her gently to his car, the warmth enveloping her as the heater blasted. She wanted to protest, to tell him she was fine, but the exhaustion swallowed her words. That night, for the first time, she let him drive her home. He didn't ask to come inside. He didn't ask for a date. He simply walked her to the door, placed his scarf around her shoulders, and whispered, "Please, take care of yourself." Then he left. Emily sat awake for hours afterward, clutching the scarf. She realized he hadn't asked for anything in return. His waiting hadn't been a game. He had been showing her, night after night, that he could be patient, that he could respect her boundaries, that he wasn't here to take but to give. It scared her more than anything, because it meant he might actually be real. The next evening, when her shift ended, he wasn't there. For the first time in weeks, the corner was empty. She told herself it didn't matter, but as she walked home, the silence pressed in heavier than the snow. She kept glancing back, half expecting the headlights to appear. They didn't. 2 nights passed, then 3, still no Daniel. A strange ache grew in her chest. She realized how much she had come to rely on the quiet comfort of his presence. On the 4th night, as she closed the diner, her manager approached with a worried look. "You know that man who used to wait outside for you?" Emily's heart skipped. "He's in the hospital. Something about pneumonia. Guess all that waiting in the cold caught up with him." The world seemed to stop. Without thinking, Emily grabbed her coat and ran. She found him in the hospital, pale against the sheets, his breathing shallow but steady. He looked nothing like the powerful figure the city admired. He just looked human, vulnerable. She stood by his bed for hours, watching, realizing that this man had risked his health just to make sure she was safe. He had waited, night after night, asking for nothing in return. For the first time in years, tears slipped down her cheeks. When his eyes fluttered open and found hers, he managed a weak smile. "Did I scare you?" he whispered. She shook her head, though her heart had never felt so shaken. She reached for his hand, gripping it tightly. "You don't have to wait anymore," she whispered back. "I'll come to you." From that day on, Emily allowed herself to open the door she had kept locked for so long. She saw Daniel not as a millionaire, not as a man who had everything, but as someone who had been waiting his whole life to be seen. And Daniel, in turn, cherished every moment with her, never rushing, never demanding, only giving her the space to trust, to heal, to love again. Their love wasn't born out of flashy dates or expensive gifts, but out of patience, kindness, and the simple act of waiting. Emily's mother, who had always feared her daughter would be alone, smiled brighter than ever when she saw the way Daniel looked at her. And the city, which had once whispered about the untouchable millionaire, now whispered about the man who had found his heart in a small town diner. If this story touched your heart, please don't leave without supporting it. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Every bit of your support helps spread love, patience, and the reminder that real kindness never goes unnoticed. And before we close, here's a special request. Tell us in the comments, do you believe true love is worth waiting for? Emily and Daniel's story is a testament that sometimes the strongest love is not the one that rushes in with fireworks, but the one that waits quietly in the cold, night after night, until the heart is ready to let it in.